Overpromised with Covino and Rich, presented by DraftKings Fantasy Sports. Check out what DraftKings has to offer this season with code Overpromised, because life's more fun when you're in on the action. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Age and eligibility restrictions apply. Void where prohibited. See DraftKings.com for details.
We're here, ready to go. Let's do it.
Welcome to Overpromised, our bonus pod brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. I'm Covino. That is Rich from Fox Sports Radio. From Union, New Jersey, from Franklin Square, Long Island, we join forces like sports Voltrons.
Boom.
Perform this show along with Spot, along with you. Thanks for being here. Hope you're having a great week so far. This is the stuff we couldn't get to on the show.
I have a parlay. No fail.
Oh.
I have a teaser.
Oh.
Can't go wrong.
And you got a sweet 49ers t-shirt.
You like this? My wife found this. That's when you know you got a good wife, when she's like, I saw a throwback Niners shirt. I got it for you. 1989. This is the year Montana had the drive to win the Super Bowl. So hopefully I have the same fate this year with Brock Purdy.
We'll see. We're also going to get to players who blew it, but wish they got that Tyler Bass sort of treatment.
If you don't know what we're talking about,
right,
we'll explain. But today marks a very special anniversary as I hold my little Hulkamania action figure here. My little Funko Pop.
What you gonna do, brother?
40 years ago today,
yeah,
we're taking it back, January 23rd, 1984. The place, Madison Square Garden, Hulk Hogan pins the Iron Sheik, and you hear Howard Finkel, and new WWF at the time world champion Hulk Hogan, and the rest is history. Billion-dollar industry. We saw just before that Netflix now owns Monday Night Raw for the next 10 years for $5 billion. So to say that wrestling didn't really start until Hulk Hogan would be crazy. It didn't until the Hulkster was the guy. It was like just old dudes grappling.
It changed everything. Yeah, we lived in a time where we weren't even sure if it was real or fake. I remember being a little kid asking my parents, but knowing that my parents didn't even know the answer. Like, they didn't even really know, because it was all new at the time.
Before all the fun gimmicks like Jake the Snake and Macho Man and Million Dollar Man, before all that, it was like Bruno Sammartino fighting Ivan Putski. It's just two old dudes grappling.
So on this day, Hogan changed history.
Well, today, as they say, is the day Hulkamania was born, which changed it all. So if you want to...
So you started saying your prayers and eating your vitamins?
Well, first of all, I think you had this as well. Did you have the Hulk Hogan workout set, first and first mostly? I mean, that's my first true workout before going to the gym with you after Fox Sports.
Yes.
I had those little blue weights, the
I remember
headband.
The hand grips. Yeah, I had those. That's why my forearms are so ripped till this day. And it's funny you bring this up.
That's why you were ripping doubles in the Gap, right?
Yeah.
You had the arm strength.
I was saying my prayers, eat my vitamins. Little Hulkamaniac. The toys were everything back then too, right? The wrestling figures, the thumb wrestlers. But there's also a few other storylines in the news today. Again, you already mentioned that they signed a deal, a 10-year deal for $5 billion.
Yeah.
Raw on Netflix. That's great. That's huge. And The Rock also joined the WWE board with TKO. And he now, as of today, has ownership of his name, The Rock. So exclusive rights to the name moving forward.
And all of this not possible.
Not possible.
If not for the Hulkster brother, what you gonna do? So, want to take a look back at some of your favorite Hogan moments?
Some of our favorite ones in no particular order. You'd have to say that today's is probably the biggest, because it changed everything.
Yeah, without a doubt. When he pinned the Iron Sheik, it was like good guy, bad guy. Vince McMahon was like, oh shit, we got something here.
And by the way, this is when it was okay to lean into those stereotypes. A much different time, right? So we were all like, Hulk Hogan, yeah! And he became a hero. But I think the one that people think of, along with this one, is when he body slammed Andre the Giant.
Well, you know, looking back, it was wrestling. And we were like, wait, you're telling me 90,000 people were in the Silver Dome watching this happen?
Amazing,
Slamming the 500-pound giant. It was a big deal back then, man. Might as well have been 500 feet.
Yeah, I was going to say, as a little kid watching that, that's how you felt. You're like, Andre the Giant? No way. The Hulkster could body slam this guy. And he did, and we all remember it. Something I remember too, Rich, I wasn't as crazy of a wrestling fanatic as you were, but I remember all the hype. There was so much hype about Hulk Hogan, the wrestler, now becoming a movie star. He's going to star in No Holds Barred.
This movie was so shitty.
It was.
But what it did was, well, that's him as Thunder Lips in Rocky 3, which, by the way, is another great appearance by the Hulkster.
You know what? Why not Hulk Hogan? Was it rights? He didn't have the rights to be Hulk
probably.
Hogan?
Vince was like,
or Stallone was like, hey, I'm going to make him Thunder Lips. Absolutely.
I mean, that's a good one, Spot. But I'm thinking this piece of junk movie. But you know what it did, though? You could say it was shitty. And Zeus, Tiny Zeus Lister, it wasn't a good movie, but what it did was it paved the way for The Rock and John Cena and Stone Cold and Bautista and a lot of these guys to actually say, maybe I could be an actor too.
I just remember so much promotion, so much hype went into it. The movie was lackluster, like you said. But
they even brought Zeus into WWE.
Yeah, I was going to say, Zeus became a household name, and you really, as a kid, you were like, this dude's scary, right? So you were way into that. Rich, I know something else that you were way into, NWO.
It was high school for me, and I remember thinking, we're sort of tired of Hogan being the good guy. He pulls the old switcheroo, turns heel. Whoa, brothers, I did it for the money. I don't like you kids, and everyone's throwing water bottles and popcorn at him. Hogan becoming a villain gave him a whole second life.
A whole second life. They ran with that gimmick. He was dyeing his beard, and he was the bad guy, and everybody bought into it. It was great.
How did he not do a Just for Men commercial with that beard?
He should have been on the box.
Failed opportunity. Now,
absolutely.
If you're a wrestling fan like I was of the 80s, I think one of the funniest moments was because Hogan couldn't lose back then, right? If he lost, it had to be because someone was cheating.
He'd Hulk back up and drop the big leg on
Do you remember the twin refs, the Hebner brothers? Yes. And one of them was bought out by the $1 Million Man, and Hogan's like, which one's you, brother? Who are you, brother? Like, this shit was the funniest thing to me because the only way in the mid-'80s Hogan could lose is if there were twin referees that cheated.
Yep, because he was unbeatable.
Until when
they got Ultimate?
11, 12-year-old little me.
Yeah.
I'll admit it now. I might have shed a tear.
Might have.
I
would put money on it that you did.
When the Ultimate Warrior beat the Hulkster, I was like, this can't be.
What was the over-under on Rich's tears?
This can't be. By the way, that moment lives in meme form. That is...
Wait a second. What's really going on there? Looking back, this is a little questionable.
Maybe the Hulkster did win. What is going on? My goodness. Well, anyway, WrestleMania 6 was probably the most watched thing when we were kids, right? Hogan lost to the Ultimate Warrior fair and square.
Well, remember, though, Ultimate Warrior was the greatest intercontinental champion of all time. He was no schlub. This guy was shredded. Yeah. So we were buying into the Ultimate Warrior, too, at that time. But these are the moments that stand out to us on this very special day. Me, personally, we've had the honor of interviewing the Hulkster a few times. I'll never forget one of the first times we interviewed him, seeing his... They seemed like 26-inch pythons, and he tapped me on the beanbag, and he said, all right, brother, we got to fit my arms into this picture.
His arm.
You guys go nuts to butts.
Look at his arm compared to me.
Look at this. Look how big this dude is.
Oh
bigger than Rich's entire torso. Look at that.
Hey.
Nuts to butts, brother. We got to fit it in.
Shout out.
Look how he squishes us in there.
Shout out to the Hulkster, brother.
Congratulations on a stellar career and for changing all of our lives, really. Even the casual wrestling fan had the toys or was impacted in some way by wrestling.
No doubt. And it's 40 years today. So feel old yet? 40 years ago today, the birth of Hulkamania. Now let's turn our attention to DraftKings because this weekend, here's what we're going to do. We do 2 Overpromised a week, right? This week we're doing Tuesday and Thursday. Today I'm breaking down the AFC. We'll worry about the Niners, Lions on Thursday. Let's start with what I'm calling, what should I call this? Mahomes won't get blown out in the playoffs teaser.
Little wordy, but I'll roll with it.
A little wordy?
Little wordy.
You know what I'll call this? I'll call this Mahomes does not get blown out in the postseason teaser. Wordy, but we'll go with it.
Okay.
Right. It's a 7-point teaser, so you're wagering a little more, 140 to win 100. But I love the Chiefs getting 10.5 because I'm convinced that they could very well win this game. And I think they're both going to score. So, score.
They're going to score.
So I look at this and say, go over 37.5, take it from 44.5 down to 37.5 and take the over, and then go from 3.5 to 10.5 on a 7-point tease. Again, you're wagering a little more, and people hate these sucker bets, but this is a game that's so unpredictable to me, but the one thing I feel confident in is that the Chiefs will not get blown out by double digits. Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, as I'm calling it, the Mahomes does not get blown out in the postseason teaser.
I mean,
wordy but effective.
You underestimated him last week, and it was a part of me and a part of everybody. It's like, you know what? He's still Mahomes.
Yeah.
Still the Chiefs. You're seeing some of that magic come back. I don't see any blowout either.
And listen, this could be Lamar's year, MVP. He could go on to win the Super Bowl, but Mahomes, unlike the Ultimate Warrior, will not go down easy. But no, it seems like Mahomes is Mahomes. Can you see him in the playoffs losing by 20 or something? No, I just don't see it. They'll fight. Even if they lose, it'll be a valiant effort by Patrick Mahomes, Kelsey, and that Chiefs team. Andy Reid will not get outcoached that much. So I like...
I'm sorry.
Stop.
The Hulkster's distracting me. Is he in pain or in total bliss right there? I'm trying to figure that out.
Ooh, that is not... Spot, get rid of that. So yeah, plus 10.5, over 37.5. That's the Mahomes does not get blown out postseason teaser.
I'm with you. It'd be out of character to see him blown out like that.
Now, this one might be wordy as well. I'm calling this This time, I'll hit all 6 legs of my same game parlay. All
right.
So these are 6 things that need to happen that, damn, I feel like they will. And this is plus 2,000. So you bet 100, bet a hundo, win $2,000. You can bet, $50, win 1,000.
6 things to happen?
Yeah.
Tough, but not impossible.
As you know, listen, I'm not the only one, and bet at your own risk. I'm not telling you what to do.
Hey, it makes it fun.
But I can't tell you how many people are with me and saying, well, yeah, dummy. Everyone hits 5 out of 6. Like the last couple of weeks, as you've been watching the playoff games with me, every game I'm like, I just needed this guy to get 8 more yards and I would have hit a 6 for 6. This is the week.
All right.
This is the week. So write these down. Play along at home if you want. Lamar Jackson, anytime touchdown. Lamar Jackson over 63.5 yards rushing. He's been averaging more than that in the postseason over the last couple weeks, right?
Yeah.
So Lamar Jackson over 63 yards rushing, an anytime touchdown in the game.
Guaranteed.
Isaiah Pacheco, anytime touchdown in the game.
Guaranteed. The way he's playing, the way they're giving him the ball, the way his feet keep moving, guaranteed.
Ravens have a good rush defense, but I also like Pacheco over 64.5 yards.
I think so, man. I think their ground game, which people question, is looking pretty solid.
So right now, you got Lamar, touchdown, over 63 rushing. Pacheco, touchdown, over 64 rushing.
Okay.
Mahomes, over 1.5 touchdowns. I think he'll get the ball in the end zone twice. I know Ravens got a good defense, but Mahomes, 2 tutties, he's almost guaranteed for 2 touchdowns.
Okay.
Again, right? And the last one is Ravens, just themselves, not the both teams, just the Ravens over 20.5 points. So if the Ravens can't put up 21 points in this game, the Ravens have been scoring 30 to 40 points a game. So 6 things, 100 wins, 2,000. That's this time I'll hit all 6 legs of my same game parlay.
I really like this one a lot.
Right?
Because you always ask, well, which one is the most questionable? I don't know. I like all of those. So, hey, $100 to win 2,000? I might be in on that.
I mean, $50 to win 1,000. You could do 50 each.
I might have to do that. So put some action on that.
DraftKings Sportsbook, take a look at those 2 doozies right there. An official sports betting partner of the NFL playoffs, bringing you an offer that'll help make the playoffs electrifying. New customers can bet just $5 on any game, and you're going to get $200 instantly in bonus bets.
Here's what you got to do. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use code Overpromised. New customers can bet just $5, get $200 instantly in bonus bets, only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code Overpromised. The crown is yours.
You know what's a tough bet? I love the...
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.com/football for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources.
I really like that bet the more I look at it.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Because listen, again, you don't have to do it. I just like that 6-game, the 6-leg same game parlay spot. If you could throw that one up again. Because Lamar...
If you win, you'll be feeling like Hulk Hogan in that Ultimate Warrior moment.
I know. Lamar Jackson, I'm telling you, it's I wouldn't touch his passing yards because there have been games where Lamar's dominated, but it's like 190 passing yards. So when it's like, I don't bank on Lamar throwing for over a couple hundred yards because there are days where he can rely on his legs and the run game and playing the clock. So I sort of like this one. So
it's a good one.
Enjoy.
Again, welcome back to Overpromised, our bonus podcast. Covino and Rich, we celebrate the Hulkster today on this very special day. And we want to talk about players who blew it, but wish they got that Tyler Bass treatment. Wish they had that.
You said blew it, right?
I did say blow
Stop
it. You're
it,
right.
dude.
You blew it. Wish they had that sort of support. Now, as you know, this past weekend, 2 games came down to very crucial field goal moments. Anders Carlson, he blew it. Matt LaFleur said every time he goes out there, he would just pray. So right then and there, you need a new kicker.
Yeah, when your coach is saying I'm praying.
Yeah. Bad news. Missed
good.
a 41-yard field goal, and then he had to feel a little bit better after that when Tyler Bass went out there to hit a 44-yard field goal and missed. Wide right, words the Bills fans did not want to hear again. And I mean, even the casual fans like, oh no,
this moment.
Deja vu.
He will. 44 yards, Bass. No, he doesn't make it. Wide right. Wow. The
Nightmare.
most dreaded words in Buffalo.
Nightmare, right?
Dreaded words
And he's
in
a
Buffalo.
young dude, and you see how sad he is after the game. But the fans, dude, I'm not saying hardcore, real fans, because I think the Bills fans did step up. I'll explain. He was getting death threats. Yeah. So
and that poor helmet heater
that was
blocking the B in his name, so he's just sitting there sad, and it looks like ass.
Tyler Ass, adding insult to injury. Well, turns out good for Tyler because he's a good guy. And he had certain charities that he worked with, one of them being the 10 Lives Club. And they spoke out on his behalf, and they said, we stand with Tyler Bass. Don't bully our friend. And they said they heard the terrible news that he was receiving these threats and he was being bullied online. They're like, yo, why don't you donate on his behalf? Step up, do something different. And fans started donating $22 because he wears number 2.
Yeah.
And people started donating $22 at a time and have raised over $50,000 for cats already just because of this dude. So turning dilemmas into lemonade, a nice sort of silver lining to a really crappy moment. And then you think about all these other crappy moments. Man, we just destroyed these people in the past.
Yeah, there are people that wish society was... Well, listen, while social media is the most evil place out there, back in the day, you made a mistake like that, you didn't get kind people being like, oh, you blew it.
This is like
We're going to help your charity. It's nice.
A positive, nice twist on a really unfortunate situation for this young guy. He's still just a young man. He wanted to make it. We got to keep that in mind, but we were so tough on these players. So it made us think of other players who blew it and should have got this treatment, but didn't.
I mean, number one, you got to think of he finally got redemption, but it took way too long for Boston to be like, yo, Bill Buckner, you were such a great player. Don't worry about it.
It's the biggest shame because he was such a great player. You look at his stats.
Yeah.
The dude was solid his whole career, and he's defined by this terrible, terrible play. And
behind the bag gets
honestly,
through Buckner.
I don't think he got officially sort of forgiven until he started going out there and he was on Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah, no, they made light of it later, but listen, we're talking about a good almost 20 years. Until the Red Sox won the World Series, Boston gave this guy a rough time. He's an Idaho guy, right? He's up there chilling.
Yeah. And he
dipped away.
Recently passed away, but he was forgiven, and people did love the guy, and he was a great player. It was just an unfortunate error for him. And this is when GOAT meant you blew the game. The definition has changed throughout the years. So he was the GOAT, meaning the curse was on him. And he brought that Chicago Cubs curse over to Boston back then. Another one that comes to mind, and we sort of felt it and alluded to it before, Scott Norwood. Terrible.
Scotty Norwood, Buffalo. I think if they had not gone to 4 Super Bowls, and what does Bills stand for again? boy, I love losing Super Bowls.
No.
4 in a row.
Terrible.
And you know what? You look back and you say, well, they were outmatched big time when they played the Cowboys. Washington, the Redskins at that time had a good team. But this wide right Norwood against the Giants, that was the team that was better. That was a Jeff Hostetler Giants team that didn't match up. So this was their chance where they could have won. And Scott Norwood.
But again, he was a good kicker, and that's all we remember, unfortunately. It's unfair, but that's it with sports. I mean, no one forced him to be a kicker. He could be the hero. He could be the zero, the worst guy in the world. And another moment for the Vikings in 98.
Gary Anderson. This is a team that, I mean, if you're a Vikings fan, you've had some rough moments.
People weren't saying he was number one that day.
Yeah, I mean, your Twins gave you a couple back in the 80s and 90s, but the Vikings have always fallen a little short, and this is their best year. If I remember correctly, they were 15-1. They were running past everyone. They were killing it. And a game they could have won. Gary Anderson just came up short, and that was the year the Falcons went to the Super Bowl with the Dirty Bird, and they got crushed by the Broncos. But this was Minnesota's year to do it. And
is it too late to donate to one of his favorite charities?
Hey, Gary
or something?
Anderson, can you?
Right? Can we make good on this? Because we were terrible people to these players. And it makes me think of, speaking of players.
Can I nominate a team?
Yeah. I mean, you could say the entire team.
Your 04 Yankees that let the Red Sox come back down 3-0. I think a team deserves to be nominated. Like, Yankee fans were not forgiving. You guys had all those World Series, so people didn't get down on you enough, but they
blew it. No, they blew it.
Yeah.
I mean, anytime you talk about comebacks, you bring up that team. You bring up the Red Sox. Who did they beat? The Yankees. That was miserable. And, you want to bring up a team. I think of the 0-1 team because I felt like the Yankees should have won in 2001.
Yeah, but they didn't blow it.
They blew it.
That was a good.
You had Mariano Rivera on the mound.
I know, but that's no Buckner. That's no
Mo
Norwood
out there. You had Mo.
Yeah.
And it was 2001, just after 9/11, New York. The whole country, for once, was kind of rooting for the Yankees.
Yeah, that's true.
A little bit.
Yeah.
But either way, when you think of really blowing it, that 2014.
We're talking about people that probably wish they got the Tyler Bass forgiveness treatment.
Yeah.
Let's wrap it with maybe the biggest fail choke of all time, because there's so many ways that this game could have not got out of control, but it did. The Atlanta Falcons. Tom Brady's epic comeback only happened because Atlanta let them hang around. 28-3. We all remember the image. 28-3. And then final score, 34-28. Are you kidding?
Brady comeback,
31 unanswered points.
Brady comeback.
Oh,
legendary. So sad for the Falcons.
Imagine being a Falcons fan. You can't ever say a team was closer to victory. 2 minutes left in the third quarter. You're up 28-3, and somehow, some way, you let Brady come back. Brady, come back.
That's how legends are born.
Oh, there you have it.
Yeah,
if you want to add any to the list, at Covino and Rich,
exactly.
You can hit us up anytime.
Hashtag Overpromised. Again, join us 2 to 4 on the West, Monday through Friday, Fox Sports Radio, 5 to 7 on the East, and we do this twice a week now.
Yep, and we'll see you back here on Thursday. Until then, arrivederci, baby.
See you in the Overpromised land. Peace.